Folks, you're all very welcome. One of the disadvantages of our live show is that you actually have to start on time. So there's no question of kind of this starting in accordance with Killarney time or Irish time or any sort of relative reality. It has to start when we've said it's going to start. So we're actually broadcasting live. So hi to all the people who are following this on the webcast. You're very welcome. We're in Killarney, the sunniest part of Ireland. It's a stunning day outside. The sun is absolutely splitting the stones. And we're here for 2 days to explore Meet Smarter. And we're going to tell you what that is in the course of the next little while. Just by way of general introduction, normally a meeting would start with the person asking you to turn off your phones. I'm going to ask you to turn on your phone. Make sure it's on. This is the new type of meeting technology that we're introducing. We need you to be online if you've got a smartphone. We need you to be on Twitter, and we need you to be communicating with us and dialoguing with us and telling us what you think and what you feel. And all of that will be going onto the tweet wall that you can see on across the top screens. So it's one of the things that we're going to be showing you during our Meet Smarter program. Right. Now, those of you who know me will actually be relieved to see that there's only 4 things that I'm going to talk about on the list. And then the second thought that will come into your mind is that it doesn't matter what it actually says on the slide. I'm going to say what comes into my mind anyway. So apologies in advance. That's just the way this person operates. But I wanted to thank, obviously, everybody for coming here. And I wanted to give a sense of who is here in the room, because it also is a good introduction into who we are, who MCI is, and so on. We've got a variety of clients, both old and new. Some clients who are friends we've been working with for so long, like the Law Society of Ireland we've been working with since way back in the 90s. IBM we've been working with since way back in the 90s as well. I know Philip McCabe is here from the Federation of Irish Beekeepers. We've got our friends from Deloitte as well. And I just picked those 4 to highlight to you because it gives a little bit of the breakdown of the type of relationships and clients that MCI has. We're working across a very, very broad spectrum. We're working with not-for-profit clients. So we're working in the institutional area. We're working in the area of conference organising, like Federation of Irish Beekeepers, whose conference we ran earlier this year in Dublin, which was a follow-on from a much bigger event which we did with Philip about 5 years ago, which was the Apimondi event, the Global Society of Beekeepers from all over the world. We did that in the RDS a number of years ago. We've worked with the Law Society of Ireland, as I said, for a number of years as well. So that's on the institutional side. On the corporate side then, we've been working with the likes of IBM, with the likes of Deloitte for many years. And I think this uniquely positions MCI as an organisation that knows how to stage meetings and events for a very, very broad spectrum of clients, both on the not-for-profit and on the corporate side. It also gives us a very, very broad understanding of all of the different areas of endeavour that the meetings industry needs to be involved in. We're joined for this event by a whole host of our partner suppliers. And in a way, our own growth as a company has been hand in hand with the relationship that we've had with our partner suppliers. I want to pay, obviously, particular tribute to all of those partner suppliers from Killarney. We've located this particular innovative event in the destination that we consider to be the most cutting edge and innovative on this country. It's a wonderful location for a meeting. You're going to get an opportunity to see that, to experience that tomorrow. So I won't go into that in any greater detail, but I do want to say a big, big thank you to all our friends in the Killarney region, all of whom you will be meeting over the next day or two. Now that brings me to the next slide. Just in terms of the meetings industry, most of you or all of you are involved in a sector, and that sector constitutes its own part of the industry, and there's a language, there's a vocabulary, there are protocols that go along with that, and part of your own professional development is actually coming to terms with that whole kind of aspect of being in the, I don't know, the accountancy business or being in the legal business or whatever. And we have been working as an industry for many years to create the term that will describe everything that happens under the category of meetings and events. It's a huge industry. It sometimes gets described by one single bit that might make it up. So it's sometimes described in terms of the hotel industry or the hospitality industry, but that doesn't actually encompass the full impact. And when I say impact, I really mean economic impact of the industry that is the one that brings people together in a meeting context or in an event context. It's only in the last couple of years, particularly when the meetings industry came under attack, particularly in the United States, as a result of probably just over anxious journalists looking for stories who were very, very willing to report on the scandal of discovering that an insurance company was holding a meeting in a hotel and spending X amount of money on delegates while at the same time receiving TARP funding from the United States government. That was a very good story in the United States 5 years ago, and it desecrated the meetings industry for about 2 years as a result. President Obama famously made a statement, a very casual statement, where he said, you can't just go to Vegas with your executives and hold a meeting there. The net result of that was that Las Vegas, as a meetings industry location, was under serious threat for a very extended amount of time. The real losers in the context of the fallout from such statements are not necessarily the people who don't get to participate at the meeting. The real losers are the millions of people who make up the staffing and the personnel and the resources that are in those hotels, that are part of those transportation companies, that are part of those event companies in those areas. And in many cases, they happen to be as well the most vulnerable in the society. So in a way, there's been a change coming from the United States and now reflecting in Europe as well in how this industry is regarded. And as an industry, we've been doing a much better job at getting out into the marketplace and getting out into the business press the full economic impact of what it is we do and the difference that it makes in an economy. And that's very much part of our message here today as well. This industry is a powerful economic tool that can bring huge inward investment into our country at a time of grave difficulty, because people continue to travel, because meetings are an essential element in how people interact, both in a business context and in a not-for-profit context. The idea of meeting has been going on since time immemorial. It's part of how we interact. And once you get to the stage where there are more than 2 or 3 people coming together, well, then you need to have meeting organizers. You need to have people who are taking care of the logistical arrangements around making it happen, and then people who are curating the content. In other words, looking at what's being said, how it's being said, how impactful it can be on the particular audience that's actually listening to it. And that's the business that MCI is in. We're in the meetings business. We're in the business of working with you on the logistics of your event. We're in the business of working with you on the content of your event. And when we do that together, we create a very, very special experience. And this has been a core philosophical tenet within the MCI organization, because we believe that when people come together, something special happens, magic happens. And I'd like to introduce you to the CEO of MCI, who will now say a few words to us.
Good afternoon. My name is Sébastien Tondeur. I am the CEO of MCI. I welcome you to Meet Smarter, where you'll gather new knowledge and get inspired for action. At MCI, we love to create a thought-provoking dialogue based on our track record and global experience. We love to stimulate the collective mind to create difference and raise performance. We believe that when people come together, magic happens. I wish you a lot of inspiration and change.
Okay, thank you to Sébastien. That has been our experience as a company up until now. We've tried to fully explore and then exploit what happens when you bring people together. We've tried to use that on behalf of our corporate clients, and we've tried to help our not-for-profit clients to benefit from it as well. And it's been very good. We've had some amazing opportunities together to create things which, in many respects, have impacted on the lives of participants in a very, very extraordinary way, sometimes in a transformative way. And I was actually describing last night to somebody an event which we did, and it was a long time ago, but it was with one of you. I won't say who, but you know who you are. It was in a different country. We were actually in Florence, and we had about 400 Irish people attending a conference in that city. It's not a particularly easy city to actually get into. There's no direct flight, but it was chosen because the organizer and owner of the event was just passionate about Florence as a destination. He was passionate about Renaissance art, and he wanted his presidential year to be located in that city and be a very, very memorable kind of touch point then for people afterwards. And we had a fantastic event. We were spread over a couple of hotels. Florence, again, doesn't have the kind of infrastructure that you'll even find in a place like Killarney. So we're in smaller hotels but close together. And we were getting to know the city, and people were getting to know each other. And all of the things that happen when people come together were happening at this particular event. And at the end of the event, we had a gala dinner. And it took place in a beautiful Renaissance villa called the Villa Castelletti. It was about 30 minutes by coach from Florence. And it was a typical April evening in Tuscany. Beautiful sunshine. People arrived to this venue, which was kind of located on a high point on a hill. And as they arrived up and got off the motor coaches and walked up the incline towards the villa, we had medieval drummers and flag bearers staging a pageant, which was really very exciting, very colourful. People were taking pictures. We did a wonderful event outside the actual event where people had drinks. There were canapes served and so on, and people are kind of connecting with each other. And again, all of the magic that happens when people comes together was taking place. The dinner was served. It was in a very, very large single room, and those of us who are in the meetings business know how difficult it can be to actually find a place where you can actually put 400 people into the same place at the same time and stage an event. So everything had worked extremely well. We got towards the end of the event, the culmination, and the president of the event made a speech on stage, and then he was going to invite people to kind of just basically party. And as he finished, the band struck up the opening bars of that great Italian standard, Volare. And as they did, people just spontaneously kind of left their seats, and I've never seen such a rush for the dance floor as I did at that particular event. And people still talk about that. People still remember that kind of sense of deep motivation, of being in a place, being in a location, and having an experience with colleagues that, in a way, you could never do on your own. You can only do it because it's part of a meeting experience. And that's the power of meetings. That's the magic that happens when people come together. And that's one of, we could have picked 20 such events, and I could have described them to you. But that's the business that we're in. The big difference now is that there's another factor. In the past, a meeting was a kind of a transactional thing where an organizer or a speaker pushed content out to delegates. And that's how the meeting took place. That's how the event unfolded. It was kind of centered on one single source of information, and everybody else was a consumer passively of that information. The big difference now, because we live in a digital era, is that that doesn't happen in the same way anymore. We're now in an environment where, behind me, I can't see it, but you can actually tweet up some great points being made at the meetings industry in Killarney and so on. You can engage with what I'm saying. I could react to what you're saying as well. So instead of being a monologue, it becomes a dialogue. Instead of content being pushed at you, content is created collaboratively together. Because what I have to say and what you need to hear are able to meet somewhere in the middle. And we're able to actually create something together, which is an awful lot more meaningful and an awful lot more impactful than that old kind of environment where content was just pushed to you. And that, in essence, is what this particular event is about. That's what Meet Smarter is about. MCI wants to start a new journey with you, our customers. We want to actually introduce you to all the ways that your meeting and your event can be revolutionized so that the messages that you have as a company or as a not-for-profit organization can more meaningfully be distributed among the people that make up your community. And that community then can engage fully with you, give you the feedback that you need to hear, so that membership of the community is something that is at a much deeper, much more profound, and much more impactful level for everybody. In a way, the difference now is that it's not about who's in this room here, necessarily. It's not about who attends the meeting. It's who participates. And later we'll be able to tell you exactly what that participation has been. This event, as we explained to you earlier on, is being webcast to a whole host of communities in different parts of the world. MCI is located in 47 different countries. 47 different cities, 23 different countries. All of the MCI offices are logged in to this event. Through the Ovation Strategic Partner Network, which is the destination management division of MCI, we are connected with another 100 locations. So all of a sudden, what's happening in the southwest of Ireland, in this beautiful place called Killarney, is not limited in time and in space to Killarney. It goes out to everyone. Not only that, but we can also take this content. We can take what happens at this meeting. Because it's being recorded, it can then be repurposed after the event, and it can be used in other ways. It can be used for training purposes. It can be used for motivational purposes. But the life of the meeting extends way beyond the 21st of June in Killarney. And that's a very, very powerful thing. And that, in a way, is it's the core element of the message that we want to bring to you throughout this Meet Smarter 12 experience. We want you to go back and think about new ways of organizing your meetings and events, using the extraordinary power that digital media brings to the table. Now, in order to get there, we need the assistance of experts and guides and people who are at the avant-garde of this new evolving industry, because the digital media industry, the social media space, is very new. There are a lot of charlatans in there. There are a lot of people who'll tell you they're experts, but we think we have the real experts here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce a long-standing friend. We go back a long time, Simon. Simon Gertie is going to be our guide throughout the afternoon, and he will introduce then our other key speakers to us. Simon's own background is very much on the corporate side, in sales and in marketing roles with many of the companies that we have worked with ourselves, such as O2, Vodafone, and so on. So he's very much at the cutting edge through his own newly formed company called Dotdash. But I think I'll leave it at that. I'll give the floor to Simon. And again, just thanks for your presence here on behalf of MCI. And we really look forward to a wonderful couple of days together, exploring digital media on the one hand in this absolutely wonderful location called Killarney. Thank you very much.